Hello, Immortal News family, and welcome back to our channel. In the last 24 hours, we have received the somber news of the passing of extraordinary talents, and today's episode is dedicated to honoring their memory. Before we start, we kindly ask for your support. If this video or the legacies of these remarkable individuals have touched your life, please consider giving this video a thumbs up as a sign of respect and remembrance. Thank you. Number 7. Nikki Cat, a dynamic and unforgettable presence in both film and television, passed away at the age of 54. Born on May 11, 1970 in South Dakota, Cat began acting at the age of 7, appearing on popular shows like Chips and Quincy, M.E., setting the stage for a lifetime in the performing arts. His breakout came in 1993 with Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused, where he played the iconic and intimidating Clint Bruno, a role that cemented his place in indie film history. Cat would go on to collaborate with renowned directors such as Steven Soderbergh, Christopher Nolan, and Robert Rodriguez, earning a reputation as a scene-stealing character actor. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, Cat delivered powerful performances in films like Boiler Room, A Time to Kill, The Way of the Gun, and Insomnia. He also brought humor and intensity to roles in School of Rock and the cult hit Suburbia. On television, he became known for his role as Harry Sennett on Boston Public, a character that showcased his ability to balance vulnerability and volatility. Cat's versatility extended to the stage, with a notable appearance in Woody Allen's A Second-Hand Memory in 2004. Even as his on-screen appearances became less frequent, he remained a respected and admired figure among his peers. Though private in his personal life, Cat's work resonated widely. He was briefly married to Annie Morse, and is remembered by friends and fans for his unflinching honesty as a performer. As tributes pour in from collaborators and admirers, it's clear that Cat's contributions left an indelible mark on American cinema and television. Tributes to Nikki Cat. Number 6. It wasn't just the music. It was the way he made you feel when he played it. Those who worked with Nino Tempo knew this to be true. Whether on stage, in the studio, or on screen, he had a way of turning sound into emotion and silence into anticipation. Nino Tempo, who passed away peacefully at 90, lived a life rich in rhythm, creativity, and connection. From his earliest acting roles as a child to topping the Billboard charts alongside his sister April Stevens, Nino's journey was always guided by artistry. He lit up movie screens in classics like The Red Pony and The Glenn Miller Story before making his mark behind the microphone and saxophone. His Grammy-winning duet with April Stevens, Deep Purple, remains a cherished gem of American music. The siblings' signature blend of harmony brought hits like Whispering and All Strung Out into the hearts of millions. Later, Nino ventured into funk and soul with his band Fifth Ave. Sax, proving that genre was never a barrier, just another place for expression. As a session musician, he played with legends, helped shape the sound of an era, and left fingerprints on hundreds of recordings. He also lent his voice to animated favorites, including Garfield and Friends, showing once again his range and charm. Nino Tempo never chased fame. He simply followed the music, and it led him on an extraordinary path. Fellow musician and collaborator Brian Wilson once said, "Nino brought heart to every note. You couldn't miss it. You could only feel it." He passed away due to natural causes, surrounded by love and memories. The world may have lost a treasured voice, but Nino's harmonies live on in every record, every film, and every life he touched. He is reunited now with April, with whom he made some of the most beautiful sounds in pop history. Tributes to Nino Tempo. Number 5. A mighty force against the cold grip of colonization. Those words now echo with sorrow and pride as we remember Robyn Kahukiwa, who has passed away at the age of 86. Fierce, vibrant, and fearless, Robyn devoted her life to honoring her heritage and lifting the voices of Māori women and communities through art. Her colors danced with stories that had long been silenced. Her canvases held ancestors, goddesses, and the truths of colonization. She made space for identity, culture, and justice without ever asking permission. Though born in Australia, she came home to Aotearoa at 19, and from there, shared a lifetime of vision rooted in her ancestry. Affiliated with Ngati Porou and several iwi, she was unapologetically Māori, and powerfully so. In 1984, her landmark exhibition Wahinatoa turned heads and opened hearts. It reimagined Māori women not just as subjects, but as forces, divine, ancestral, and present. That show became a statement for her career, and for so many who saw themselves in her work for the first time. Internationally, she brought Māori stories to the global stage, from New York to the Sharjah Biennial, never compromising on her message. Her painting Hinetama, now housed in Te Manawa, remains a lasting symbol of feminine strength and indigenous pride. Beyond her paintings, Robyn brought Maturanga Māori to young readers. Her illustrations and books, like Nga Atua, Māori Gods, educated generations, making ancient knowledge new again. Her storytelling was both a gift and a responsibility she carried with grace. She received numerous honors, including the Te Tohu Toi Ke Award and the Supreme Award at Te Wakatoi. Awards were never her goal, though. They were just acknowledgments of a mission she lived every day. Robyn passed away peacefully after a short illness, surrounded by Wanau. She is survived by her children and Mokopuna, who inspired so much of her work. She led with color and courage, one artist said. We walk through the doors she opened. Her work lives on, in galleries and bookshelves, and in hearts, and her message remains clear: know who you are and stand tall in it. Tributes to Robyn Kahukiwa. Number 4. His faith moved mountains, but his heart moved people. Reverend Paul Breza, a beloved figure in Winona and beyond, passed away peacefully at the age of 87. His passing followed a period of illness, surrounded by the community he served for nearly 5 decades. What stood out most about Reverend Breza wasn't just the collar he wore, it was the way he wore it, with humility, warmth, and a deep love for every soul he encountered. Whether on the altar, in classrooms, or in quiet reflections with parishioners, he provided guidance, joy, and fierce devotion. Born and raised in Winona, Reverend Breza stayed true to his roots, both spiritual and cultural. He was a dedicated priest of the Diocese of Winona, and never stopped serving, even in his retirement. Wherever there was a need, he was there with a helping hand and a kind word. One of his greatest gifts to the world came in 1979, when he founded the Polish Cultural Institute and Museum in Winona. It began as a tribute to Polish heritage and blossomed into a celebration of Kashubian American culture, a cause especially close to his heart. His visits to Bytów, Poland, reignited a passion that went beyond borders. Thanks to his efforts, Winona and Bytów became sister cities, rekindling a historic connection between the Kashubian homeland and its American family. Cultural exchanges, friendships, and shared pride followed, legacy-building moments that still echo in both communities. To many, he made Winona feel like home. As priest, teacher, archivist, and historian, he told stories that mattered, stories of faith, migration, resilience, and pride. Bishop John Quinn shared, Paul was a bridge between past and present. What he preserved, he passed on not just through words, but by living it. He helped change how people saw their ancestry, not just as history, but as something beautiful and alive. Because of him, generations of families now embrace their heritage with pride. Reverend Paul Breza didn't seek honors. His reward was community, connection, and the quiet joy of seeing others grow. He leaves behind more than memories. He leaves a mission, tributes to Paul Breza. Number 3. Music is a weapon of the future, Max Romeo once said, a belief he lived by every step of the way. Max Romeo, the visionary reggae artist whose voice became a soundtrack for justice and resistance, has passed away at 80 from heart complications in St. Andrew Parish, Jamaica. His absence leaves a silence that echoes through generations of fans and fellow musicians around the world. Raised in St. Ann Parish, Max's journey began with struggle and sheer will. At just 14, he left home and worked on a sugar plantation. By 18, he won a local singing competition, leading him to Kingston and into the heart of Jamaica's music scene. From there, he soared. His break came with "Buy You a Rainbow" as the lead of the Emotions. But it was the cheeky yet iconic "Wet Dream" that stunned the UK music charts and marked the beginning of a groundbreaking solo career. It wasn't just the bold lyrics. It was the spirit behind the music, the courage to say what others wouldn't. Max Romeo's catalog became a force for consciousness. Albums like War in a Babylon and Revelation Time weren't just music, they were messages. Songs like Chase the Devil and Let the Power Fall on I fired up social and political movements, echoing the cries of the marginalized. They were adopted by leaders, chanted by protesters, and sampled by musicians far beyond Jamaica's shores. He wasn't just a singer, but a storyteller of his people. With raw honesty, humor, and compassion, Max captured the heartbeat of Jamaica. Even in his later years, he fought for artists' rights, proving his passion never faded. His children, including rising artist Zana Romeo, continue the family tradition, carrying forward the torch he lit decades ago. He gave them, and the world, not just music, but messages worth remembering. Tributes have poured in from across the globe. Jamaica's People's National Party called him a cultural revolutionary, and to so many, he was more: a father, a teacher, a brother in spirit. His songs don't just play, they stay. Max Romeo may be gone, but his legacy lives where truth, rhythm, and resistance meet. Tributes to Max Romeo. Number 2, a good lawmaker listens carefully, thinks clearly, and speaks for those without a voice. John LaFalce lived that principle every day. At 85, he passed away peacefully in April, surrounded by the enduring impact of a life spent in public service. A native of Buffalo, New York, LaFalce built a legacy as a thoughtful leader and a champion for fairness in government. Over nearly 3 decades in Congress, he earned respect on both sides of the aisle. He led with policy, not politics, believing lasting change required patience, purpose, and collaboration. His time as chair of the House Small Business Committee brought genuine improvements to struggling entrepreneurs, especially women seeking access to credit. Later, as the top Democrat on the Financial Services Committee, he helped shape major banking reforms still felt today. But what set John LaFalce apart was not just the legislation with his name, it was his unmistakable sincerity. A former U.S. Army captain, educated at Canisius and Villanova, he carried himself with humility. He listened first, spoke thoughtfully, and stood strong when fairness was at stake. John combined intelligence with compassion, said a former colleague. He believed government should work the same way people do, honestly and respectfully. Even after retiring from Congress in 2003, he continued to contribute, earning national recognition for a lifetime of public service. His 2013 Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Development Council was just one of many testaments to his impact. He is survived by his wife, Patricia Fisher LaFalce, and a nation shaped by his steady hand and principled voice. His passing leaves a deep emptiness, but also a standard for future leaders to follow. John LaFalce's life reminds us that true leadership doesn't make headlines, it makes a difference. Tributes to John LaFalce. What's trending on the internet? News 1. A tragic small plane crash in Boca Raton, Florida, has claimed the lives of 3 passengers and left 1 person on the ground injured. Authorities have identified the victims as Robert Stark, 81, of Boca Raton, along with Stephen Stark, 54, and Brooke Stark, 17, both from Delray Beach. The relationship between the individuals has not been confirmed publicly. The Cessna 310 aircraft went down near Glades Road and Military Trail just after 10:20 a.m. on April 11th, prompting a swift response from Boca Raton Fire Rescue. The plane reportedly struck the railroad tracks under an overpass, sparking a fire and scattering debris across the roadway and nearby train lines. One man, 24-year-old Pablo Tafur, was driving nearby when he encountered the wreckage. He sustained non-life-threatening injuries after his vehicle was caught in the aftermath, but is currently recovering in the hospital. Mayor Scott Singer expressed heartfelt condolences to the victims' families, asking the public for compassion and patience as federal officials from the FAA and NTSB continue their investigation. The flight had been bound for Tallahassee International Airport before encountering mechanical issues. Eyewitnesses reported hearing a loud rumble just before the crash. "We knew something was wrong immediately," said one bystander, noting how unusual the plane's descent appeared. As the community grieves, support continues to pour in for those affected. Local officials remain committed to uncovering the cause of the accident and ensuring aviation safety moving forward. News 2. A heartbreaking tragedy has left both sides of the Atlantic mourning after a sightseeing helicopter crash in New York City claimed the lives of a Spanish family of 5 and their pilot. The Escobar family, Agustin, Merce, and their 3 young children, were visiting the city as part of a birthday celebration when their aircraft went down in the Hudson River on April 10th. Back home in Barcelona, the Jesuits of Sant Ignaci School, where the children were enrolled, shared a moving tribute. "We are deeply shaken and saddened by the death of a family from our community," the school wrote in a heartfelt message. Staff and students held a moment of silence, while parents offered support to classmates grieving the loss of their friends. New York City officials confirmed the helicopter, operated by New York Helicopters, crashed around 3:15 p.m. off the coast of Jersey City. 4 victims died at the scene, and 2 others succumbed to their injuries at the hospital. The pilot was identified as Sean Johnson. Siemens CEO Roland Bush also paid tribute, describing Agustin Escobar, a leader at Siemens Mobility, as a deeply respected colleague. "Our thoughts are with their loved ones," Bush said. The FAA and NTSB continue to investigate the crash to determine what caused the Bell 206 aircraft to fall from the sky. As the investigation unfolds, both communities in Spain and the U.S. remain united in grief and remembrance. News 3. A devastating crash in Randolph, New Jersey, has left a community heartbroken after 4 lives were tragically lost, including that of 4-year-old Yexel Reyes Granados. The accident, which occurred on April 10th, involved 4 vehicles, one of which was a school minivan transporting students and staff from the PG Chambers School. Authorities confirmed that Yexel, along with Bertha Castaneda, 67, Diane Gutz, 71, and Maria Figueroa, 58, did not survive the collision. At least 4 others were injured, including 2 children who were taken to a local hospital for care. Yexel, described by his family as a sweet, courageous child, had special needs and was cherished by all who knew him. Though doctors worked tirelessly, he passed away the following day. His family hopes to lay him to rest in Honduras, where his roots and extended loved ones reside. Maria Figueroa was remembered by her brother as a loving mother in the heart of their family. GoFundMe pages have been established for the victims, drawing emotional support from across the region. Morris County Prosecutor Robert J. Carroll called the event a tragedy beyond words and extended heartfelt condolences to all those impacted. The investigation into the crash is ongoing, and officials urge witnesses to come forward. As the community grieves, many are reflecting on the kindness, love, and spirit of those lost, hoping their memories will continue to inspire care and compassion in others. News 4. An urgent search is underway in South Africa after U.S. pastor Josh Sullivan was allegedly kidnapped at gunpoint during a church service. The Tennessee-based missionary was leading a prayer meeting at Fellowship Baptist Church in Motherwell, near Gqeberha, when 4 masked men stormed in on April 10. According to South African police, the armed suspects took 2 phones and fled with Sullivan in his silver Toyota Fortuner, which was later found abandoned. No trace of the pastor has yet been found. His church community, both in South Africa and the U.S., is devastated. Please pray for Josh, the Fellowship Baptist Church in Tennessee posted. He was kidnapped at gunpoint by 6 men during their church service. Family members and fellow missionaries are calling for global prayers. "We're in a really tense situation right now," said David Witt, Sullivan's father-in-law. "We're just trusting God for his safe return." Sullivan's wife and 6 children were reportedly present during the terrifying incident. Local pastors and police believe the motive may be financial, but no ransom has yet been demanded. U.S. authorities confirmed awareness of the case, emphasizing that the safety of American citizens abroad remains a top priority. South Africa's Hawks police unit has taken over the investigation and is pursuing all leads. Despite the fear and uncertainty, Sullivan's community remains hopeful. As church leader Tom Hatley said in a heartfelt message, "Pray for strength, for courage, and most of all, for Josh's safe return." News 5. Brazilian influencer Ravena Hanley is speaking out after an icy photo shoot in Spain landed her in the hospital with a surprising injury: frostbite on her backside. The 24-year-old content creator posed in a bikini amid snowy scenery on April 7th, aiming to capture a stunning visual inspired by similar shoots online. But what started as a fun, creative moment quickly turned serious. Ravena shared with her followers that the -10 degrees Celsius weather was much harsher than anticipated. "My bum really froze," she joked in her Instagram caption, before revealing she had to be rushed to the emergency room with severe numbness and pain. Doctors diagnosed her with frostbite and warned that her exposure could have led to localized hypothermia. "At first it felt manageable," she said, "but then my body started to lock up. I couldn't even sit." While the photos turned out beautifully, Ravena admitted the risk wasn't worth it. "We get so excited about our ideas that we forget the risks," she reflected. "It was memorable, yes, but also very dangerous." Despite the ordeal, she's recovering well and hopes her experience reminds others to prioritize safety, even when chasing the perfect picture. Her story has sparked conversations online about the pressure to stand out on social media and the importance of knowing your limits. With humor and honesty, Ravena is using her platform to highlight that even in the influencer world, real consequences can come from a single snap. News 6. Katie Thurston is finding strength and clarity as she shares an important update in her cancer journey. The former Bachelorette star, 34, revealed she will no longer begin chemotherapy after receiving a second medical opinion that significantly changed her treatment path. Originally diagnosed with stage 3 triple-positive breast cancer, Katie later learned her condition had progressed to stage 4 after the disease spread to her liver. However, after switching care providers and undergoing further testing, doctors discovered she is actually HER2 negative, a key detail that opens the door to alternative treatments. Instead of starting chemo, Katie will now begin hormone-blocking therapy, including oral medication and monthly injections designed to control estrogen. "This is the best chance at long-term control with fewer side effects," she told followers in an emotional Instagram video. Katie is using her experience to encourage others to advocate for their health. "If there's any takeaway," she said, "it's get a second opinion." While she remains realistic about the possibility of future chemotherapy, for now, she's focused on this hopeful new chapter. Despite the uncertainty, Katie's message is filled with resilience and optimism. "I'm confident in my team. I feel empowered knowing more about my body," she added. Her openness has sparked important conversations about patient advocacy and early detection. Katie's story is a reminder that knowledge can be empowering, and second opinions can be life-changing. News 7. Colin Farrell is honoring the life of his father, Eamon Farrell, who passed away peacefully on April 9th at the age of 83 after a long illness. Eamon, a beloved father, husband, and former professional soccer player, was surrounded by family and the compassionate staff of Dublin's Beaumont Hospital in his final days. Born in Ireland, Eamon began his soccer career with the Shamrock Rovers in 1960, where he played as a halfback alongside his brother Tommy. One of his proudest moments came in 1962 when he helped lead the team to victory in the FAI Cup final before a crowd of 32,000 fans. His contribution to Irish sport continues to be remembered with admiration. Colin, known for his deep appreciation of family, paid tribute to his father earlier this year during his SAG Awards speech. With heartfelt sincerity, he thanked his dad for the love and guidance that shaped his life, calling him a source of strength and inspiration. Eamon is survived by his wife Eileen, children Colin, Catherine, Claudine, and Eamon Jr., and his cherished grandchildren. Funeral services are planned in Dublin, where friends and family will gather to celebrate a life filled with resilience, dedication, and love. As his loved ones reflect on his remarkable journey, Eamon's legacy lives on, not only through his accomplishments but in the hearts of those he touched. Number 1. She touched the lives of many, not only with her songs, but also with her kindness and generosity. These heartfelt words from her granddaughter, Janine Gutierrez, capture the spirit of Pilita Corrales. Pilita Corrales, beloved across generations, passed away at 85. Her death was confirmed by her family after a brief illness. With her passing, the world says goodbye to one of the most cherished voices in Philippine music. Known affectionately as Asia's Queen of Songs, Pilita's legacy stretches across more than 6 decades. She gave the world unforgettable hits like Kapantay Ay Langit and A Million Thanks to You. Her voice brought comfort, joy, and pride to millions. Pilita wasn't just a performer, she was a pioneer. She was the very first Filipino artist to appear on the Australian pop charts. She stunned the world when she won Best Performer at the first Tokyo Music Festival, beating global stars, including Olivia Newton-John. She recorded 135 albums in Tagalog, English, Spanish, and Cebuano, breaking language barriers with song. Her signature graceful backbend on stage became just as iconic as her voice. Pilita's mark on entertainment went beyond music. She charmed audiences as a host on beloved TV programs and served as a judge on Philippine Idol, offering wisdom and encouragement to new talents. But one moment truly cemented her place in history, when she shared the stage with the Beatles during their Manila concert. A once-in-a-lifetime moment that spoke to her star power and talent. Later in life, she was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award, had a street named after her in Melbourne, and received an honorary doctorate in music. Yet, despite all the accolades, Pilita remained humble, generous, and devoted to her family. She is survived by her children, Jaquilo Blanco and Ramon Christopher Gutierrez, and her granddaughter Janine. To them, and to her countless fans, Pilita was more than a star, she was family. She leaves behind a voice that defined an era, a presence that filled every room with grace, and a heart that gave endlessly. Tributes to Pilita Corrales. Today we remember a craftsman of cinema and television, Ted Kchef, who has passed away at 94. His career spanned decades and genres with remarkable versatility,